On Larry King Now, rock royalty Carlos Santana tells all in his new book, The Universal Tone.
You know, I wasn't really trained by guitar players. I was trained by watching women walk.
Were you using drugs before Woodstock?
I was using medicine. Drugs is something that man makes in a laboratory. Medicine is something that Mother Nature makes on the earth.
You went public about being molested as a child. Why did you decide to reveal that?
Healing. You know, I needed to let a lot of people know that there's a way to heal and illuminate the act and letting it go forever.
Plus, Carlos's message for Obama.
If I was him, I would make a t-shirt that says, I don't need your permission nor your approval to do something that is wonderful for humanity.
All next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. What an honor. Our special guest is Carlos Santana. With over 100 million albums sold worldwide, 10 Grammy Awards under his belt, Carlos Santana has graced the globe with his sound and spirit for more than 4 decades. And now he's telling the story of his prolific musical journey in a great new book, The Universal Tone. It is available now. What do we mean by the universal tone?
The universal tone is something that I learned from John Coltrane. You know, it's a frequency that as soon as people hear the first note from your guitar, you're not a tourist anymore. You're part of family anywhere, from Budapest, Africa, anywhere, in Japan, everywhere. They hear one note and they connect, they identify with your sound as something that is part of their hearts.
So people know, they know Carlos Santana. They hear one note, they know it's Carlos Santana.
That's right.
Or one note, they know it's Coltrane.
Exactly.
How do you explain that? It's a universal tone, but in one note?
In one note, you can tell a person. Mahalia Jackson, Billie Holiday, Marvin Gaye, Eric Clapton, in one note. Everyone is born with, like your fingerprints, your own symmetry of individuality and uniqueness. Some people spend more time trying to be somebody else, and then they misplace it. You never lose it, but you misplace it. I found out when I used to lock myself in a closet and try to sound like B.B. King or Otis Rush or anyone like that the more I try to sound like them, the more I sounded like me. So I gave up trying to sound like them. I just took the essence of what were they thinking when they hit this note. Now, one thing about the universal tone, sound resonance vibration, it's supposed to immediately give you chills. Because if you don't get chills, they will not get chills. So you have to learn how to get the chills. Make your hair stand up, and then it becomes more than entertainment or show business. It becomes a mission of divinity.
Why did you choose the guitar?
Because I couldn't play as beautiful as my dad. He played the violin, and the violin is a very demanding instrument. And I sounded like Jack Benny or a pussycat in the middle of the alley. My sound was very stringy and weird. And I was frustrated because I couldn't get the beautiful sound that my father had. Fortunately, he allowed me to drop the violin and pick up the guitar.
Did you have a natural gift for the guitar?
Pretty much so, yes. Thank you for asking.
Were you well trained?
I wasn't really trained by guitar players. I was trained by watching women walk.
Explain.
Well, when you work in Tijuana and you're a child, or you're very young, 12 years old, 14 years old, and I worked in a strip joint. So I learned how they walk, and because when they play like the stripper, and then even if they're not blessed with, like, say, some kind of beauty, because some people, ladies who were really beautiful, I remember, they didn't have to work so hard because they know they got it. But the other ones, they had to work a little harder to seduce or captivate you, or you know, they have to make up with what, you know. So I learned, I was like, oh, okay. So when I was a child, there was no Cirque du Soleil. It was women stripping. And I was like, whoa, this is incredible.
How did you get from Mexico to that single evening at the Fillmore?
Everything I credit to my mother, because my mother was a person of supreme conviction. She's the one that took us out of Outlan to Tijuana and from Tijuana to San Francisco. It was always my mother who would say, nos vamos, which means we're going, and we're gonna go. And so she's the one that always, her conviction and her prayers took me into a place to San Francisco where it was an explosion of consciousness at that time at the Haight-Ashbury, the Fillmore, you know, with the Black Panthers and Dolores Huerta, Cesar Chavez, Vietnam, Tito Puente, B.B. King, Bill Graham, you know, Jimi Hendrix. It was all like you walk in and it's three-dimensional around you. You know, I couldn't escape not being part of the whole thing.
And what happened to you that night?
What happened to me is that I became focused. My favorite word is crystallizing. I crystallized my whole existence to say, I belong on stage with Michael Bloomfield, B.B. King, Eric Clapton, or Jimi Hendrix, or whoever. I belong in there, and I'm no less or no more, but I belong in there. You know, and
you had that confidence.
Yeah, you have to have confidence.
But then you really got globally known at Woodstock, right?
Yes, exactly.
That was the explosion.
That was the explosion. One of many.
How did you get on that bill?
Only because of Bill Graham. Bill Graham adopted it like a child. He says, Santana is a combination of B.B. King and Tito Puente. And so Bill Graham grew up at the Catskills, but he used to go in Spanish Harlem and hang out and watch Tito Puente, and he learned how to dance. He was a master salsa dancer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when you see the movie Bugsy Malone, he's dancing in there. You know, he got a role in there.
So he got you into Woodstock.
He got us into Woodstock.
Were you using drugs? You're very candid about it in the book. Were you using drugs before Woodstock?
I was using medicine. Drugs is something that man makes in a laboratory. Medicine is something that Mother Nature makes on the earth.
So what were you using from the earth?
Weed, herb, like Bob Marley, mescaline.
Bob Marley.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he was wonderful.
Yeah, you know. So ayahuasca, mescaline, peyote, you know, it's stuff that
Did it help you play better?
It helped me become broader. And even if you research, even Cary Grant took it to discard, you know, a lot of like a snake shedding its skin. That's what it's for. Because, you know, sometimes you have this old skin being a victim. It's a skin, you know, and then you get rid of it, and then you get to the other side. I'm not promoting. I am revealing that under supervision, certain things can help you not become a victim of yourself.
Did you stop using it?
Yeah.
Next, we further explore Carlos's spirituality and learn about his angels in his life. Don't click away. The book is The Universal Tone. Our guest is Carlos Santana. The book is The Universal Tone. What is this about angels?
Angels are everywhere, all the time, helping you not hurt yourself.
You believe they're around?
Oh, totally.
Does this come from your Catholic upbringing?
I hope not.
I hope not.
No, I think it comes from just naturally knowing that you'll never walk alone, that there is Holy Host helping you not, I keep saying not hurt yourself, because most people, like Robin Williams, they hurt themselves by listening to the wrong voices in your head. You know, depression, frustration comes from the voices of guilt, shame, judgment, condemnation, fear. You're not worthy, you know, and it's like a hurricane of voices that attack you with depression and frustration. And pretty soon you don't listen to that voice that has all these angels saying, you are a beam of light, and you can create miracles and blessings. The greatest miracle is to be happy. It takes courage to be happy.
Have you heard the bad voices?
All the time.
So you fight it all the time?
Yes. I hear them all the time like he did, because when someone like myself wants to create a dimension of multiplicity of universal love, they come after you because they resent. They resent you trying to open a gate of floodlight.
You went public about being molested as a child. Mm-hmm. Why did you decide to reveal that?
Healing. You know, I needed to let a lot of people know that there's a way to heal and illuminate the act and letting it go forever. Because of two friends that I have, Jerry and Diane, Jerry Jampolsky and Diane, they helped me look at this person who did this to me when I was a child, and I was able to reduce this person to a 7-year-old child as well. I saw him become a 7-year-old child with his own innocence, and I told him I could spend the rest of my life being angry and sending you to hell, but right now I choose to see light behind you. And I forgive you, and I'm going to send you into the light. Because if I send you to hell, I will go there with you. I don't want to go to hell.
Does all of this that has all happened to you come through in your music?
Totally. You know, this is why people identify, because everybody's going through the same challenge.
You've always struggled, talked about, and fought for equality in America, right? So when you see a thing like Ferguson, Missouri, does that make you think we've taken a step back?
No, we're taking a step forward, because you have to heal something. You have to confront it. You have to... I think there's songs, as I was telling my friend here, there's 12 songs that if you play in shopping malls, parking lots, elevators, these 12 songs, even while the riots are happening, these songs have the power to rearrange molecular structure, change your anger. For example, What a Wonderful World, Louis Armstrong. What's Going On, Marvin Gaye. One Love, Bob Marley. Imagine, John Lennon. Blowing in the Wind, All You Need Is Love. You know, A Love Supreme, John Coltrane. When you play these songs and somebody's fixated on getting revenge or hurting someone, they hear these songs and they make you stop and cry and laugh, and then they go, what the hell was I thinking about?
You got a Kennedy Center honor.
Yes.
This year.
Mm-hmm.
And you wanted to talk to Obama, I understand, but did not. Why not?
My younger sister Maria, and a lot of people say, Carlos, this is a hug from God honoring you.
You wanted to talk about immigration, right?
I want to talk about immigration and the promise that he made the first time and the second time, which is like stop the war and invest more money than incarceration. Mm-hmm. That was the promise that he made. That's what he got in there, you know? And so I've been known to have war paint on my face, you know? And so I told Harry, you know, all my sisters told me to take the war paint off. And he said, don't take all of it off.
But what happened? You didn't get to talk to him, right?
No, I had an opportunity, but I chose to just take the act as from a form of gratitude. Because I do represent a lot of Latin people. You know, not too many people get a chance to be giving such an award. So on behalf of all the people who clean all the sheets and the bathrooms and all that stuff in every hotel in America, I am the dreams and aspirations of the invisible people. I am the dreams and aspirations of a lot of people. So I promise to behave myself.
Well, he came through Vienna, didn't he?
Yes, because the way Harry Belafonte introduced it, he immediately said, we got to do something about this immigration law. They're coming here and taking all our jobs. This Santana guy took my Rock and Roll Hall of Fame trophy. You know, so he made fun out of it. But he did it in a very, very high and gracious way.
What do you think of Obama?
I think he's a beautiful person, and I think that if I was him, I would make a T-shirt that says, "I don't need your permission nor your approval to do something that is wonderful for humanity." And that's the difference between him and I. I don't need your permission nor your approval to do something wonderful for humanity, period.
More with the iconic Carlos Santana. The book is The Universal Tone. We'll be right back. He's a global music icon. He is the incredible Carlos Santana. Bringing My Story to Light is the subtitle of The Universal Tone. In a Rolling Stone interview, you said, "As you know, I totally identify and equate myself with Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye, Jimi Hendrix, and John Lennon. I am one of them, and we all have the same message: to transform fear on this planet into light and love." You said that in Rolling Stone this year.
Yeah.
Have you seen all the disappointments, though? You look at you're obviously optimistic. You look at the better side of things, but then when you see tragedy, when you see deaths and killings in the Middle East, and how can you remain uplifted? How can you keep your spirituality when all around you is chaotic?
When you take the high road and look at the aerial picture and see the aerial view and see the big picture, you see that humanity is a work in progress, like Desmond Tutu says. The day will come when, what did he say, when the power of love replaces the love for power. The day will come where the only currency will be love. The day will come where we will do away with flags and patriotism and all that stuff that's prehistoric and very harmful to human beings. You know, the day will come, because just like people used to get hurt and killed by proclaiming that the world was round, and a lot of people were like, "No, it's flat and we're going to kill you," you know? And people say the same thing. But I can see that the day will come in this planet where humans will be the fullness of their divinity, you know? And in that day, we will be able to do away with all that stuff that is just fear.
How far away is that day?
In men's time, because men's time is based around day and night and globally, when you go out there, it's just now, eternally. It's already there. It's already done. We just have to wake up from the nightmare of division, separation, superiority, inferiority, you know.
And you see that coming?
It's there already. It's intact. We are the ones that have to graduate from this university of fear.
Was there any one artist that influenced you the most?
Probably Miles Davis.
But he played trumpet.
He played trumpet, and didn't sound like a trumpet. It sounded like a herald that was bringing a whole new era every time.
What do you think happens when we die?
We don't. We just go into another room where you discard the need for a limited body, and you go into a place. By the way, I'm going to get a standing ovation when I get there.
From who?
Coltrane and John Lee Hooker and people.
So you believe they're somewhere?
They're everywhere. There used to be somewhere, because, like right now, your body's only here, but because of the Steve Jobs and everybody, you can be everywhere now, because you can, you know. And spirit, you don't need all that. You're everywhere all the time, you know. And I really believe that when you leave this body, you enter in absoluteness, and your energy.
With consciousness?
With consciousness. Thank you for saying that. Absolutely.
What makes you believe that? You can't prove it.
Let's see. if you prove something, why do you need faith? Faith is the substance of things not seen.
Right, of course. I can't make that leap.
With willingness, you can't. You know, I learned from people like Albert Einstein, who said imagination is more important than knowledge. Imagination is the realm of the invisible realms. And so for me, imagination allows me to see clearly that there is a heaven beyond human logic.
After the break, Carlos takes your questions, and we're going to play a little game of If You Only Knew. The book is The Universal Tone. We'll be right back. Carlos Santana, the book is The Universal Tone. You're headlining a gig you live in Vegas now, right?
Yes.
You're also slated to release new music next year. Will this be with Santana or a solo?
Santana, the original band, the ones that we were playing in Woodstock together and did the first 3 albums.
What will we be hearing?
Some swamp music, I hope.
Swamp music?
Yeah, funky like a swamp, you know. We came up with this energy when we first got together that it was like, Bill Graham used to call it a street mutt of many things. You know, we're not one thing. We're from.
So there's no way to describe your music?
Swamp.
Swamp.
Yeah, funky like swamp.
Well, swamp also means hot, and swamp means humidity.
Hey, I like that. Especially hot.
Okay, we have some social media questions for you.
Okay.
Ardalan Jardalan on Facebook. What was it like working with Michael Jackson?
Oh, it was very inspiring, you know, when he called me and he sent a song. I immediately heard this whistle, and and he immediately said, yeah, I want to keep it, you know, so that became the intro of the song. I'm very grateful, you know, that I got a chance, not with Bob Marley, but at least with Michael Jackson, to co-create some music.
Dillinger Nick on Instagram. How did the success of the album Supernatural change your life?
It gave me immediate appreciation for what my mother said. You are who you are because of God. You have what you have because of people. Don't forget to every day be grateful to both of them.
And Amarillo SDQ on Instagram asks, is the younger generation ever going to experience something like Woodstock again? It seems like festivals have become too commercialized rather than artistic.
Festivals will become like Woodstock when you invite all the colors of the rainbow, not just white people playing loud music. So to me, it's like there was like Joan Baez, which was a woman. You know, there was like Ravi Shankar. You know, it was a multidimensional festival. It wasn't just certain bands with a certain color, you know, with a certain agenda. And if you look at most of the festivals, they're like that. You know, there's a few here and there who do take the time to. The reason Woodstock is because of the multidimensional rainbow of humans. You know, I don't have anything against white people. It's not that, but I have something against only doing vanilla. You know, at Baskin Robbins. I need all the flavors.
I got it. Right. We'll play a little game of If You Only Knew. I just throw some questions at you. Remember the first girl you kissed?
Yes.
What was her name?
I have no idea.
How old were you?
13. She tasted like Coke and rum.
Rum and Coca-Cola?
Yeah.
Artists we'd be surprised to know you listen to?
I listen to everything except Insincerity.
Proudest accomplishment?
Every day, transcending the bad voices.
Most embarrassing moment on stage?
Is yet to happen.
Biggest splurge?
Biggest splurge?
Yeah, what did you spend something big on?
Probably the last house that I bought.
Big?
Nice.
Vegas?
Yes. Best piece of advice you've ever received?
It was from Mr. Knudsen, this teacher in Mission High School. He said, Carlos Santana, come here. He said, Santana, come over here. I need to talk to you. So he took me into a room where they have all the stuff for art. He says, you take over the class. And so he took me to this other room, and he opened the door, and he says, I took the liberty to check all your grades since you've been here from Tijuana, and you're pretty lousy at everything. But in my class in art, you're getting A's. And I also heard to the streets that you're a musician, that you want to, he says, so I want to tell you right now. And he looked at me right in the eye and he said, this world is getting really crowded and there's no room for 50%. You must be 150%, whether it's art or music. And I was like, oh my God, it's just like my heart went, it's like. So he right there single-handedly instilled in me a sense of excellence.
Go with what you do best.
Yeah, be 150%.
Song currently playing on your iPod.
Holy, Holy, which is, I believe it's the song that would dismantle single-handedly all the riots in the United States right now.
Who recorded it?
Avery Sharp. Avery Harp.
What's a thing you couldn't live without?
Hope and faith.
Is there something no one knows about you?
And they won't.
Thank you. You're my man. The Universal Tone is the book. Carlos Santana, big thanks for him joining us today. Be sure to pick up a copy of the new book, The Universal Tone. As always, you can find me on Twitter at King's Things. We'll see you next time.